Alright, so the new motor for the Supra came in today. We'll get it unpacked and inspect it, make sure it's good to go. Well, so I got this motor from Dallas JDM in Arlington, Texas. They did a nice job packing it up. They had the mass airflow sensor with an extra layer of padding on it, make sure it didn't get damaged. Initial look, everything looks good and looks just like the pictures. Comes with the igniter also, and the ECU in the box. Only damage I see was the rear trans mount. Looks like it's busted, but we're not going to be using the auto anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But overall, looks pretty good so far. We'll tear into it a little bit more and see what we have. Alright, so next we're going to pull the cover off the ECU box and make sure we have the correct ECU. We want it to be a non-immobilizer unit. Make it a little bit easier to work with. So that's the correct one. Doesn't have that last plug there on the right hand side. It's blanked out, so that's a good thing. All right, next we're going to pull the spark plug cover off. That way we can get at the cylinders and see what we've got there. Make sure we've got good compression, and then we'll start wiring it up. We're going to do a test start. Still sitting here on the pallet. Make sure everything starts up good, as long as the compression numbers look good. Alright, so next we're going to take out the 9 screws holding in the spark plug cover, and that way we can access the spark plugs to remove them and inspect the compression. This is one thing I always check, and they're not even on this engine. The little crossover hoses that go between the valve covers, between the valve covers, they're notorious for splitting. You know, the rubber gets hard with all the heat that's trapped in there. A lot of times the loom and even the wires themselves get extremely brittle. The looms seem better days. The wires still have some flexibility to us. I think we'll be all right there. It just needs a lot of cleaning up. It's quite dirty. All right, so one other thing we'll check right away is the oil. They didn't drain it, which is fine, but it does have enough in there, and it looks fairly decent. So hopefully this engine was somewhat well maintained. Alright, to do a compression check, basically we need a compression check gauge, and I'll have different adapters that attach to the end. These will match spark plug threads, and then basically going to remove all the spark plugs. We already checked to make sure it had oil in it, and then you'll need a battery or battery charger, something with enough current that you'll be able to spin the motor over several times without it slowing down any. You'll let it build up pressure in the cylinder, read on the gauge. So this engine should be somewhere, I believe it's 165 or better, with less than 10% variation in between all the cylinders. So we'll do that. Once we complete the compression check, if it looks good, then we'll go ahead and do a little bit of wiring. I'll bring a wall barrel fuel pump out. Got a bucket with some hose, and we'll get some fuel to it and wire up the power and grounds necessary to run it, and then see if we can get it to run. Alright, so one other thing we want to check is to make sure that the engine rotates pretty easy. It doesn't make any strange sounds or bind up or anything. Still have the spark plugged in, so has a little bit of compression in the cylinder. Yeah, it seems to turn nice and easy. That's a good sign.